Hey guys, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about the most forgotten Star Wars game of all time, at least what I deem. There's a lot of Star Wars games that have just sort of seeped onto the cracks and sort of left public eye, but this one I believe is the most worthy of talking about, and no one else talks about it, so I think it's worth giving a sort of overview. And to my previous viewers, I'm just going to give this segment talking about where I've been. I haven't been exactly busy, but I definitely haven't been focusing on the channel. I think a month ago I said I was coming back, and then it was just dead silence. So yeah, instead of coming back with another video, just sort of explain where I am, I'm going to give you a proper video for once, so enjoy. Now, the game in question is Star Wars Lightsaber Duels on the Wii from 2008. Now, this appeared on one console, the Wii, and was a motion controlled fighting game that was sort of a tie-in for the Clone Wars movie. Now, since the show hadn't come out, or the show is in early stages of development, I'm pretty sure the story of this game just follows the events of the Clone Wars movie, with one exception. Sorry for the drop in quality just then, I needed to get footage of the menus and this was all there was. Now we're going to be talking about what modes they have, and in terms of modes it's pretty barren. You can choose the difficulty, and there's challenges, the campaign which is around 30 minutes long. The challenges are sort of battle scenarios, and then the way that you sort of unlock characters within the game. Throughout all modes there's only around sort of 5 maps, and they all are things that you would find in the Clone Wars movie. So yeah, pretty barren in terms of maps, so I guess we should probably go on to the character selection now. In terms of the game's roster, it's actually pretty decent, including characters outside of the movie, such as General Grievous, Mace Windu, Kit Fisto and Plo Koon. It also has its very own character, the first time this character has ever been shown, and it is EG5 Jedi Hunter Droid. Now this is actually the final boss of the game, and that was what I was talking about earlier, with the one exception to it being based on the movie and the first season of the show. And this character is honestly pretty decent. Now before I go on to talk more in depth about that character, I like to sort of go more over the roster. Now each character has their own sort of different sets of stats, which you can see at the bottom, and they all come with sort of alternate styles that you can equip them with. I'm not too sure on who the strongest character is, but I do know that they all do have variation in their skills, which is something I didn't know when I played this game as a child, so it's quite cool they add that bit of depth to the gameplay there. So speaking of which, let's sort of move on to the gameplay. It's actually kind of surprised it's taking me this long to get to it. But yeah, the gameplay is arguably the most important part about this game, and if it's not fun to sort of play, then it's pretty worthless as a game. And the game does suffer from being an early motion controlled Wii game, because like I said in the start of the video, this is a motion controlled Wii game, which does mean that all of the attacks are done by sort of flailing about with the Wii remote. You can sort of pull off combos that are sort of taught to you in these sort of loading screen tips, and they do add a bit of depth to the game. To be honest, the game is pretty fun, if a bit lacking in depth. You can sort of pull objects from around you into the other character if you have force abilities on that specific character. But yeah, it is a bit lacking in gameplay depth, but for a simple Wii fighting game, it does manage to do the job pretty well. But yeah, as I said, that unfortunate control scheme has led it to be chastised at the time of its release, calling it clunky, and it definitely doesn't work as well as something that's like Wii Sports, and I think it would have benefited from the Wii Motion Plus technology, but it does work as a fairly shallow but enjoyable game. Unfortunately, this lack of depth in controls and art style and just sort of its identity is what has led it to be forgotten. It's just sort of been glanced over in the history of Star Wars games, not even being regarded as the absolute worst, just sort of a very mediocre game, which is unfortunate as I definitely enjoyed it quite a lot as a kid. So do I think this game will ever get a remaster? No, definitely not. The sort of Clone Wars era has moved on, and it's very hard to remaster a game that relies so heavily on a Wii control scheme. It would be nice to see a fan remaster that sort of changes the controls for something more modern, but I doubt that will ever happen because the game is so forgotten. So yeah, this was just something I wanted to talk about, and I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I mainly made this as just sort of a way to get back into YouTube after being gone for so long, so thank you for sticking around whilst I've been on this sort of 2-month hiatus, maybe even 4 months, I'm not sure at this point. But yeah, I'm back now, and thank you guys for bearing with me.